The number one most important thing you can do as a Christian is get yourself a pocket Bible. Listen, friends, many years ago, this is what changed my life. I had this little pocket Bible, and this is still the same one that I've had from many, many years ago. And this little Bible here, what I used to do is I'd put it in my back pocket and I'd go to work with it. And every lunch break, every bathroom break, whatever it was, I would read 1 or 2 verses here and there. And let me tell you, it totally changed everything. Everything. When I was full of the Word and having the Word speak to me, it's just so powerful to do it throughout the day, because here's the thing. The enemy attacks whether you like it or not. He's coming for you. And he's not just coming for you once, twice, or 3 times throughout the day. He's coming all the time. He doesn't stop. So we always need to have our spiritual sword, our protection. The armor of God is right here. In no better place to have your armor than already attached to you in your back pocket. Then you can pull it out. Who buys armor and protection and leaves it at home? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to carry it with you to protect you, so when those fiery darts come, you're well prepared and you're ready to go. Listen, I'm going to give you a little quick story here because it's really important. I had a scenario at work many years ago where I was doing some measurements when I worked at a sawmill. And I remember these measurements, they were just a pain to do. But each shift, the outfeeds guy, I was an outfeeds operator. And basically I'd go around and check the boards and let all the operators know if the equipment went down. So I had to get this thing called an L size checker, and it was like a little box, and I had to measure certain boards, and I had to flip big boards over that were coming out of the cutoff saws and so on. And it was just a pain to do, and it was difficult. And a lot of people just marked down whatever numbers because they just didn't care. And it was very easy to get away with. And I remember the one day, my foreman came up to me, and he said, you know, I heard him in a conversation by me talking to one of our VPs, and said, nope, Brent's doing his L sizes. He's doing them properly, and he always does them every shift at this certain time, because there was a discrepancy with some of the measurements with these boards. And instantly, I remember him over talking to the VP, my foreman, and I was convicted because I just read a Bible verse that talked about truth and telling the truth. And even though I was getting away with it, it bothered me. But here, it came up right as I read those scriptures earlier that day. And you know what I did after that? Right after I got on break, I walked into my foreman's office and I said, Henry, I have to be honest with you. I said, I have not been doing my L size checks properly. And I said, I am so sorry. And he was stunned. Like, he just sat there stunned, like wide-eyed, like, wow, okay. And I said, will you please forgive me? I said, I'm a Christian. And I said, I have not been doing them properly, and I've been convicted to tell you the truth. And he stood there, just wide-eyed, basically in disbelief, like, wow. Number one, I can't believe you'd admit this. Number two, he was probably shocked that, you know, the VP was right, like these sizings were wrong. And I said, it'll never happen again. But I think the biggest thing is he was shocked because I went up to him and I was honest. And you know what he says? He's like, thank you for telling me that. And from that day on, I worked so hard for him. He was such an awesome foreman. He had a ton of respect for me telling the truth, and we just got along so amazing. And I never wanted to rob him of that again. I wanted to make sure that when he talked to the VP, that all the data, the measurements that were coming out were honest and accurate. And as a Christian, we need to do that. And I give the credit right here to this little Bible that was sitting in my pocket that I was reading that day, because those verses convicted me. The Holy Spirit spoke through the Word to convict me of the truth. And I needed to go correct that. And I needed to be honest. I know some of you watching this here today are in that exact same boat where you're doing things at your job or in your life where the Holy Spirit's convicting, but we're kind of dampening, we're suppressing that, or we're just kind of ignoring it. But when you pull out the sword, when you pull out the armor, this is what's going to fix that. It won't be easy. Trust me, when I went up to my foreman, do you think that was easy? No. That was difficult, man. That was really difficult to admit that I had been doing something that wasn't right. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to fire me. I didn't know if he was going to kick me off the shift and I'd lose that wage. I didn't know. But I knew that I had to do it. I knew that I had to do it. My heart was beating through the roof. The scriptures convicted me, so I went in there and I did it. But the healing that came from it and what I learned from it was just absolutely amazing. So to finish this video off, get yourself a little pocket Bible. Put it in your pocket. Take it with you to work. Take it with you if you're maybe a coach like me on your kids' sports team. Take it with you. Read a verse before you go into a game. Read your kids a verse if you can, man. Like, pull it out right in the flipping dressing room. Whatever you got to do, carry this with you. Carry it with you on vacation. Carry it with you to family gatherings. Just always have it in your pocket and always be ready, because you never know when Satan's going to attack next. Blessings, friends.